Commonly in my practice, we see a variety of symptoms such as urinary incontinence that is usually described as urgency incontinence, urinary frequency, or some people have urinary retention where they can't void. Another symptom is bowel incontinence as well. Fortunately, we have a device that's been FDA approved over 20 years for those symptoms, and it's actually an implant. You don't really hear much on the news or advertisements on it, but it's been around for a long time. It's an actual implant to manipulate, or we call neuromodulation, the nerves in your pelvis to control symptoms such as urinary frequency, urgency, incontinence, urinary retention, and bowel control issues. It also helps with female pelvic pain and also some other types of pain issues that it's not FDA approved for, but it can help with those as well. This operation is something I've been doing for almost 20 years. It's minor surgery, minimally invasive, small incision. It takes about 45 minutes. Recovery time is very fast. You just are limited by bending over for 1 month as the implant has to seal itself in place. So basically the operation is done in an outpatient setting, and it's done under general anesthesia, and you're laying in the prone position on your stomach. You don't remember this, but the incision and most of the procedure is done underneath the belt line on your backside. And basically what we're doing is we're placing this implant with its internal cabling on the other side of your tailbone, which is the place where all your important pelvic nerves, including your bladder nerves and your bowel nerves. Last decade, this was the original version of the implant. This was made by Medtronics. It's called the InterStim. This is a neuromodulator device. Basically, it's got a battery in it, and it sends out power signals. It's very similar to a pacemaker. In fact, they're the same people that make the pacemaker. So the incision is about the size of the implant that's on your posterior side, usually on the right underneath your belt line. It is implanted underneath the skin, and then a connector to this cable goes to another extension cable that runs through your tailbone and on the other side where those nerves are that we spoke of. And basically myself, after the procedure, we program this device to the appropriate settings that are best for you. And all you have to heal from is really the incision. Over that's done with some internal stitching, and you can take a shower in 48 hours and you can go back to your regular activities as soon as possible. You just no bending over and picking things up off the ground. Basically, because this cable system in your tailbone, you'll put it on stretch and you may pull it out of position. So until it seals in place, that particular action is limited. Over the years, the technology has advanced. This in the last decade, this is the more current version of it, does the same thing, FDA approved for the same things, for the bowel and the bladder, and it has a smaller cable. So basically it's a smaller incision, and the battery lasts about 5 years just like its predecessor. So this was the version number 2. Fortunately, in the last year, a couple of great things have happened, and that is the implant now is half this size. It looks like a thumb drive for your computer. It has the same cabling, but now it's MRI compatible. It used to be through this last 20 years, patients couldn't have an MRI after this because it has metal in it, but now it's MRI compatible. So this is fantastic now for our patients who have bladder and bowel issue, who have central nervous system problems such as multiple sclerosis, those who have brain tumors, who've had a stroke. As long as your peripheral nerves are intact, the ones that go out to your arms and legs and your pelvis, these devices can take over those nerves basically and control those pelvic organs that have been interrupted from other type of neurological issues. And then basically in follow-up, we have you come back, we test to make sure that the InterStim or the new version called Axonics, which is a competitor, either one, make sure that the program is right for you. So I would say that this is a complicated device that I manage, but it's not complicated for the patient. It's very simple for the patient. And you basically at some point forget that you even have the implant in place, and you just come back to see me now and then to check the battery life and other program settings to make sure it's working adequately. If you're interested in having neuromodulation of your pelvic nerves for such problems as urinary incontinence, urinary retention, or bowel control issues, or even pelvic pain, you can call my office at West Georgia Urology at 770-834-6988.